the Assam RoW portal. So the Assam RoW portal is basically to facilitate the permission processes for setting up mobile towers and underground OSC so that the time.
Your screen is very small, not readable. So can you please play it?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So basically, the Assam right-of-way portal is to facilitate the permissions for the mobile towers and the underground cables. So in the state of Assam, we have a population of 3.5 crores, but there are only 16,000 mobile towers in the state. So as per the National Broadband Mission guideline, there should be 1 tower per 1,000 population. But in our state, 1 tower is right now facilitating 2,200 people. So we are basically in shortage of 19,000 mobile towers in the state of Assam. Similarly, in the case of underground optical fiber networks, 43% of our mobile towers are only connected to optical fiber underground networks. Ideally, it should be 100% to attain the goal of 5G. So taking that in mind, we developed this portal. Next slide, please. So this portal is a business process re-engineering of the Indian Telegraph right-of-way rules 2016, and which basically has 2 modules. One is the overground telecom infrastructure permission module, and the other is the underground telecom infrastructure permission module. So what was the idea behind this particular portal? So far, all the applications for these 2 particular items were manual. They used to be given, the permission applications used to be given to the DC offices, and then the DCs used to do some kind of inquiry and then grant the permission. And then according to what they sent, the DCs used to send to the Directorate, we used to keep the record. So now with this, we are doing away with the manual application process. The next problem that we used to face is that there were no specific timelines. The DM offices are overworked. So we see that the telecom service provider had applied 6 months back, but no action was taken on those particular applications. So with this portal, we have solved this problem as well. Thirdly, accountability and transparency. Right from the lowest revenue official like Nathmandal in Assam's case, to Gaubura, to the circle officer, to the DM and the PWD department, everyone is a stakeholder in granting these permissions. So since the layers are more, so definitely there were rent seeking and there were other problems related to transparency. Finally, all these things led to revenue loss for the state. We saw cases where mobile infrastructures were installed without being in notice of the government. So these kind of things have also arisen in the past. And secondly, proper permissions were also not taken from the nearby people, etc., for this installations. And finally, when such things happen, that permissions are not taken from the nearby people or from the government, this leads to complaints and court cases. And so there were a lot of litigations as well. So taking all these things into mind, we developed this portal. And the basic key features of this portal are, first of all, it's a single window system. If somebody goes into the portal, all the ISP, TSPs and IPs will be able to apply both for the overground infrastructure and for the underground infrastructure. Then as per the Government of India right-of-way rules, there is a provision for deemed approval if the application is not worked upon within 30 days. So in this portal, we have put a mechanism for deemed approval for 60 working days. And for that, we are managing an integrated holiday management system as well. Since the holiday would not be counted in those 60 days, so a combination of the two gives us a deemed approval for 60 working days only. The fourth key feature of the portal is it's an integrated payment gateway. And this gateway has been established by keeping into mind a system called split payment. By split payment, I mean, for example, TSP like Airtel or BSNL applies for mobile towers in 10 districts of Assam. So ideally, they have to pay for example, 3 lakhs into 10, 30 lakhs rupees. So they will pay 30 lakhs together, but our system is in a way to differentiate that it has been applied for the 10 districts, and it will be going to 10 separate DGS accounts, district e-governance accounts. So this is already integrated. This is already a part of the portal. Next slide, please. The next important part, the landmark that we have achieved just last month, is that we have integrated through API to the Gati Shakti portal of Government of India. So now, if anyone goes to the Gati Shakti PM Gati Shakti portal, the TSP and the ISP will be directly routed in case of Assam to our portal. So through API, we have connected it last month. Then there are single signups and single credentials for government users. So we have a host of users, right from the lowest revenue staff to the DM, to the executive engineer PWD, to the executive officers and commissioners of the ULBs, and finally the IT department of Government of Assam. So we have a huge number of stakeholders in this entire permission process, and we have already created, and we are in this process of capacity building and creating logins for each one of them. Next is there is a separate path for company users and government users. By company users, I mean, for example, the BSNL or Airtel wants to go for some permission, then it is a different route. And by government user, for example, there is an IT mission and they want to install some instrument in some overhead towers of APDC. So in that case, the government user has a different path. And finally, we have analytical dashboards and reporting inbuilt in this particular portal. Next slide. So this is the entire system, how we process. So basically, the application is done. From the application, it directly goes through various steps to the district administrators module. From the district administrator modules, there can be 3 conditions. First is accepted. If the proposal is accepted by the DM, then it goes to again back to the applicant with a letter of intent and request for payment. And since the payment gateway is integrated, once the payment is done, he or she gets the permission. Next is if it is rejected, then the information will go to the applicant that his or her the application of that particular TSP has been rejected. Now the third case is the 60-day and up case, where action has not been taken. In such cases, if the particular official in the DC offices are not able to work on it for the next 60 days, it will be directly considered to be deemed approved, and it will go with a letter of intent and request for payment to the applicant. And in this way, we can make accountable those officials in DC offices who are responsible for operating giving permission to this applicants. So this has an inherent accountability mechanism as well. Next. Again, taking into account the various security features, the RoW platform securely runs in the HTTPS protocol. All the uploaded and generated files are encrypted, and we have used the cryptographic security technique to protect all the login IDs, etc. Next. So far we had launched the overground facility in September 2020, just after the first lockdown. And since then, this is the breakups. The original NOC, by original NOC, I mean the number of NOC which was given through this portal by accepting, that is 73%. Then the deemed NOC, as you can see, is just 2%. We have been able to reduce it to a large extent. Then there are various applications in process which are within 60 days. This is the green color one, and which is around 7%. And finally, we have the reverted applications. For example, the TSPs lack certain kind of information to be uploaded. We revert back to them, and that is around 11%. And rejected application is 4%. So we get a complete view from the state directorate what is going on in the field level regarding this permissions. And finally, how can we, what is the USP of this particular platform? This can be replicated in the other states as well. And this is a very important step towards successful implementation of 5G telecom infrastructure in the state, because OFC, until and unless we connect all the mobile towers with underground cables, it is not possible to attain universal 5G for all in the state. And finally, there is a inherent public grievance redressal mechanism in this entire portal, and this are being redressed to from time to time. And coming to the last part, ma'am and sir, is that this was the first project in-house developed in the Directorate, and the total financial burden on the government of Assam was zero. We didn't take a single penny from the budgetary or any other source. It was developed completely in-house, from business process re-engineering to development of the portal to creating APIs and to creating the various models. That's all from my part, ma'am and sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations that you have not charged anything for the exchequer. This Assam right of way, as you projected, or as you established the fact that you see the towers as you install permitted is not even the half of the what you require. 16,000 you have achieved, as 19,000 is to go. And at this juncture, it's kind of progress. If your module is put into use and rigorous application, then what would be the time duration that you would presume that you will accomplish completion of this rest of the 19,000 towers, including other connections, underground, overground?
Yes, sir. So basically, sir, during any installation, there are various processes. It starts from the district level, and the permission from, first of all, is that the TSP has to locate those places. And I would be very, we can gauge the level of, we can gauge the advantage of this particular portal from the fact that when we had started this portal, ma'am and sir, there were 7,000 pending applications. The total number of pending applications throughout the state was 7,000 when we started this particular process. And in today's date, it is just 171, and that too, it is within 60 days. These are all pending applications within 60 days. So if we go if we are very hopeful that if the TSPs use it, then we will be in a position to gain at least 10,000 to 15,000 mobile towers in the next 6 to 7 years. And that would be a huge gain for the state, as it would act it would play a very important role, especially for the hilly and the char areas. Char areas means the riverine areas of the state, which are lying very backward as far as the digital connectivity is concerned.
No, so far the application of your flow chart that you have shown in terms of how you procedurally go across board to board in accomplishing or in permitting applications approval, but there would be simultaneously the other side would be the physical challenges. Suppose you have to go underground, and would that be included as an issue in your portal?
For the underground cable, sir, underground cable has two aspects. The most important aspect of the underground cable, as I already mentioned, is that PWD roads and other entities which develop roads play a very important role. So whenever there is an underground cable project, the main tension is the road restoration part. And
Absolutely.
yes, so PWD roads and other stakeholders like NH, we hardly cross NH, but PWD roads and the ULPs, being the custodian of the roads, play a very important role. So through this portal, at least since we are bringing all the stakeholders into one particular single platform, we will be at least able to know where the particular application of OFC are being stalled, which we were not able to pinpoint before the launch of this portal. So for example, PWD executive engineer of a particular district is not acting on the proposal. So we are in a position in this directorate to directly bring into book that particular executive engineer that you are not acting on this particular proposal, either accept it or reject it, giving reasons. We will take it up with the higher authority. So in this way, it will advance the OFC connection as well.
But thank you. You get a good model of make things work in your sector, and I hope other states will gain from this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it's a good project, and it's time you do it, because then only you can speed up the process. Just a tricky question. You have some 2% or so deemed approval given. That means the concerned officials did not give permission within the stipulated 60 days, right?
Yes, yes.
Are you taking any action against them?
So since the deemed approval thing is there in the particular right of way rules that I was mentioning, and there are no penal provision in that particular rules, but we are making sure, and even it is being monitored at the highest level, and even in some of the review meetings the Honorable Minister has pointed out. See, ma'am, there are two parts. One is that deemed approval is happening. But if deemed approval is happening in an area where there is no controversy as far as the installation of mobile towers is concerned, that we should, in my opinion, we should not go and disrupt the way they are functioning, because finally they are furthering the right to internet for everyone. But yes, definitely we are.
That is not the point. That is not the point. The point is whether there is controversy, whether there is something or other or not. The concerned officials should be raising that issue if there is a controversy, right?
Yes, actually.
Yes. But if there is no DITEC issued or raised, there is no issues raised, that means the officer concerned has not taken action, he was sleeping over it.
No,
it's a dereliction of duty. I'm talking in that sense.
Yes,
so is there any action taken against the official who is responsible for a deemed approval to be given? Because he has not taken action.
Yes, ma'am. So in our
that may not be the ambit of the RoW Act 2016, but that's a departmental procedure.
Yes, ma'am. So deputy commissioners or the district magistrate is the sole authority to give the permission. So if any deemed approval happens, that is reflected in the deputy commissioner's dashboard as well. Like this, the pie chart that I have shown.
That is okay. Reflecting his dashboard and he forgets it after deemed approval is given, he goes it. But does it also reflect in his CR dossier, ACR?
No, ma'am, we don't have any mechanism as such. That decision has to come from the highest.
Because otherwise what's happening, that 2% will increase. If no action is taken for people not doing their jobs, that's not good governance.
We'll note it, ma'am. We'll note it and we'll try to implement it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Otherwise, it's fine. It's very good.
Thank you.